Hi, welcome to my next video. This time I wanted to show you the next part in making the illustrations for DOCOMO's calendar for 2021. I made 12 illustrations for each month of the year, depicting some of the places where DOCOMO is trying to make something interesting with their mobile technologies, and also one more picture for the cover. This is the fourth illustration I did for April, but actually this was the first illustration that I did in this series. I did some thumbnails first, but this was the first illustration that I finished in this series. So this was a bit of an experiment when I tried to figure out the style in which the series will be done. I was approached by the agency that actually commissioned me to do all the 13 pieces because of my work on animation backgrounds. But in this series I didn't want the pictures to look like they were taken from an animated movie or an animated TV series. So one of my goals for this series was to make it look more painterly. Even though I was still painting in digital, I didn't want the paintings to be stiff and have straight lines. I wanted them to look more hand painted and having similar qualities to my pictures done with watercolors or with poster colors, for example. I think that the decision to paint all the pictures using Procreate on the iPad Pro was a good one. Having just an iPad and a simple painting program with all its limitations also allowed me to focus a bit more on just the contents of the picture and on painting rather than on just making more layers and making everything more complicated and straight and perfect, something that I would probably do in Photoshop. Yes, the limitations of Procreate on the iPad Pro, especially in this file size, were sometimes bothersome. Often I had to work really hard to have all the necessary elements on separate layers, so later in Photoshop I can edit them if, for example, the client wishes more, green leafy trees. I had to have them on a separate layer. So I think at this file size I only had 22 layers to work with, and that was a bit limiting. But again, I think I'm really happy actually that I chose to paint all these illustrations in Procreate overall. And this time I'm painting a scene from Kumamoto, featuring the famous Kumamoto castle with some cherry blossoms, so sakuras, and in front we have also famous streetcars from Kumamoto. I wanted to keep this picture as realistic as possible, but also at the same time a bit fantastic. So all the trees in the back I made a bit bigger and more lush than they are in reality. So you cannot see that this scene is actually in the middle of the city. But for example, the train stops, I wanted to paint them just as they are in reality. I had to check a few times because apparently they are being remodeled right now actually, so I had to at some point change some details because I found a bit more recent reference photos. So for example, if you look really closely, you will notice that in my first drafts and at the beginning of the final picture, the white stripes on the road on the left side were of different shape, and then about halfway through making the finished picture I had to change how they look because I actually found that they don't look like this anymore in reality because they were redone. Such things happen sometimes when you make a picture for a bigger project like an animation movie, for example, that is based on a real place, and the place changes or is planned to change, and you have to match your pictures with something that you're not completely sure how it looks like in reality. It makes the painting process a lot more slow and bothersome. Okay, I'll leave you here for the rest of the painting process and I'll meet you at the end of the video. Okay, the picture is nearly complete. The last step was to add the characters that Kana made for this illustration. She designed and painted the family waiting for the tram on the right side, and I just added a bit of details and textures to the characters so they match better with my painting style. It was really nice to be able to collaborate with Kana on this project. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. As always, feel free to comment, share and subscribe, and you can also support me on Patreon. It's your support there that allows me to do these YouTube videos. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye!